We are talking about how to increase the amount of people that you can sell to using online marketplaces and market mobility tips. And
Yes.
Dr. Tori Knox is the founder and CEO of Victorious Living. She's been on a mission to help people thrive in their lives for over 15 years. She had a 17-year career in business management, administration, training, and the beauty industry, along with 10 years of philanthropy and missions that have taught her a lot of things. She's the owner of 6 growing companies and the founder of 2 nonprofits that focus on grassroots technology. And so I'm excited to have you on the show today. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited too. Such an amazing topic.
Yes. And, I don't think that there's a single business owner out there thinking, I wish there was less places for me to sell and less people for me to reach. So let's
Absolutely.
right in. Why don't you go ahead and let's start with an explanation, because I think there's a lot of people that aren't necessarily familiar with marketplace mobility. Why don't we start off with an explanation there?
Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to give the most simplistic term. When you think about a marketplace, you think about a place that has all of these local businesses that you can walk through and just shop at all of these different places. And, you know, and enjoy what it is that they offer. When you think about that from a physical standpoint, if I'm going to go to the market, that means that I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be able to see loads of businesses. I'm going to reach them, touch them, and experience what they have. So I want people to look at that from that standpoint, but more from an online standpoint. So that's the market or the marketplace, where a place where you can go to and find a lot of businesses, or a place where, this is like when you think of Instagram, there are loads of businesses on Instagram. Instagram is considered to be a marketplace. When you go on Facebook, you can join different marketplace groups, and in that marketplace groups, businesses promote their items, they get to know each other, you buy, you sell, you network. So that's the sense of marketplace, and in the word of mobility, within that marketplace, being able to be more mobile, more active, generate more sales, and monetize what it is that you have, as well as building connections.
Well, and what I love about this is, do any of you personally have more subscribers than Instagram? Because I don't, right?
No, yes.
We can go the slow, hard way of we have to find and acquire every single deal on our own, or we can plug into a resource that's going to be able to help direct people towards us. And there's a lot of marketplaces out there, like Angie's List is a marketplace.
Yes.
Depending on what your product or your service is, there may be marketplaces that you're not even aware of, that you're completely underutilizing, but your competition is using. And so they're
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's, yeah.
So what are some of the, when they're, because I do think this is a new concept to a lot of people. They haven't really thought of this as a tool for growing their business. They've maybe thought of it more as a tool for shopping for themselves. So where should you started stepping into utilizing these marketplaces?
First, I would say, utilize the platforms that you're already familiar with. If you're already familiar with Facebook, if you're already familiar with Instagram, if you're already familiar with Amazon, those are some of the places that you would want to go to expand your business and get involved in that vast marketplace. Because what that does is that kind of takes you out of the normal consumer or customer that you may normally look for. It broadens your demographic. It broadens, the possibility of where you can sell your product. You could be like me in North Carolina and selling to someone in Dubai. Or selling to someone in the UK. So when I say, they'll start with what's familiar to you. That way you can gain more, traction, because you already have the familiarity. And then once you become more comfortable, you can say, hey, I want to go, take a look at Shopify. and see what type of, mobility or market mobility that I could access there. So it just puts you in a larger pool. It gives you a broader stance. It allows you to reach and touch more people that you wouldn't normally touch just, if you have a brick and mortar, or if you have an online business and you're just trying to look at the ideal client, from that standpoint. So.
Well, and I think we have to understand that consumers shop differently than they used to, right? Like
Yes.
some things that you would never have imagined you would buy through Facebook. Like I was looking at a car a couple of weeks ago from car dealerships through Facebook Marketplace, not cars.com. I was on Facebook Marketplace and I thought, this is so interesting that where we buy, we're expecting now as a consumer that you're going to bring the products to us. Like we don't expect to go look for the products come to us. So
Yes.
I think this is a really smart way. Now, I know you said start where they are. What if they're in kind of like a really niche field and they're wondering, is this going to work for me? What advice would you have there?
I would say if you have a really, niche field, I would say search for that platform that's with that. Let me give you an example. If I have clothes and cosmetics and things like that, I might say, okay, where are people going a lot? I know me, I start with where I am a consumer. So I look at Pinterest, I look at, Shopify, things like that. And of course, always Amazon. But I look at those places and I say, hey, how can I do some sort of starter? Like with Instagram, I didn't know until 2019 that, hey, it may be good for me to do a small promotional ad. Run this ad for a couple of days. Start there. Don't just try to jump in there. Maybe just say, hey, I want to try a Instagram promotional ad. Let me see what that does. And it gives you all of these different settings to play around with. Once you say, hey, I want to promote this ad, it allows you to say, hey, I want to reach 1,000 people, or I want to reach 15,000 people. So set a goal for yourself, say, hey, I'm going to start out. Let me see if I can, how close I can get to reaching 1,000 or 2,000 people. By doing an Instagram ad. Same thing with Facebook. So like I do recommend start with a familiar place and start small, do an ad, and see how that ad turns out. How many new followers did you gain? How many people actually, snagged your freebie or whatever it was that you were offering? How much did you sell by doing that one time? And I typically say, hey, do it on a day where you normally don't sell. Like, hey, if Mondays are slower for you, if Tuesdays are slower for you, do look at what you sold on those days through that particular one small ad.
One thing that I want to point out here, I think that there are too many small business owners right now who want to be able to fully automate the process from start to finish and not ever get involved in conversations with the people, which I think is the wrong way to go. So for example, if I was going to run Instagram ads, and I know that we have different levels of business in here, and some of you are new. And those of you who are new, maybe you're nervous about putting ad budget in, right?
Yes.
However, if you're going to run an ad and you get some new followers, you might go, well, I got new followers, but I didn't get new customers. Did you reach out to them and connect with them? Because on Instagram, when somebody adds you, you can send them a voicemail message and just say, hey, so glad you added me. Looking forward to getting to know you. And people are very impressed by those little small touches that you're creating connections. So the ad itself is going to help you with visibility and it's going to help you get new followers. But then you have to have a strategy for how you're going to convert those followers instead of just giving all visibility.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I always say this too, look at where you are. One of the things that I do say is, business is definitely engaging, so take some time out, look at where you are, because I noticed a boost in sales for a lot of my mentees and clients once they started to really engage their business. When are you selling the most? Oh, I really don't know. But let's take a look. And so they're like, well, I didn't even know they're running a business, that you actually had to be this engaging, or you had to look at these type of details. They thought, oh, I have this great product. Once I put it on my Instagram, people are going to like it, love it, and then I can just try to sell from there. So I do urge you, be a little bit more engaging. Find out where you're having the issues within the market. You may be in the wrong market. That's why I love, looking at the marketplace. And even when you said those that have a specific niche, look at the market from a global standpoint, and don't just say, oh, hey, there's probably no business for me in the UK. I thought that at one point until I actually started to sell my cosmetics and, some of my other fashion products in the UK. And one person told another person, and they're like, oh my gosh, I absolutely love, these glasses. And before I knew it, I got all these sales from the UK, even through engaging with one person. So, that marketplace mentality is necessary. And it is introducing something new, because it's not the normal business lingo. People are like, what is this market? What are you talking about? So, yeah, I just say look at it from that standpoint of, not just where you are here. How can you start to engage your mind? Start with the thought process. Hey, how can I start doing business in Dubai? I thought of that one day. I'm like, how can I do that? And I started to research doing business in Dubai. So, use Google, use the tools that we have right here at our fingertips. It works.
Absolutely. And one thing I want to point out too that you had talked through is, actually paying attention and tracking. When are you selling? When are you not selling? And I muted you for just a second because when I talk, we get feedback through, but I'm going to unmute you here in just a second because I know based on, the communications that we had together that you are very, very on top of knowing the actual results and what's going on in your business. Do you want to give a couple tips there?
Yes. Okay, the tips that I will give you is start by doing can you guys hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Start by doing, like we were talking about, an analysis. You can always Google, free template, free market analysis template, or something like that if you want to do it on your own, or, always look at mentors and things like that that can assist you and help you. However, a tip that I would give you is to look at where you are right now by doing a market analysis, because what this is going to show you, it's going to show and allow you to see the demand for you, the level of demand that's out there for you, and also the demand for where you're at or for even where you want to go. So once you do that free template, and it'll take you about, maybe I'd say most tops 10 to 15 minutes to do just a brief, quick market analysis. This will really help you engage your business from a different standpoint. That's one of the things that I did to, kind of leverage my business, my revenue. It works because I wasn't doing that before. I had a few different companies, and I just was, looking at that particular company, working within that market or within that vein, and doing that with all of them. I never said, oh my gosh, maybe I should do a market analysis on, all of them and see what I come up with. And I noticed a difference in my sales. 2019 was amazing. I went from barely making any sales on products in 2018 when I did not have the market analysis to 2019 when I did have it. Now I knew exactly where I was going and what I wanted to do. So that is key. The tip that I would give is definitely Google. A lot of these resources are free. They're out there. Make sure that you put in free marketplace analysis template or free business marketing template. You can always get a free business marketing template. The marketing templates are really great because it allows you to be able to focus on the structure of your business, because I did that too. When I looked at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm totally like marketing my business in the wrong place. I was marketing my
business. None of us want to do. Like, if we're going to put in the effort, make sure it's directed to the right place. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for being on. Do you want to go ahead and tell all of our participants what's the best way that they can get in touch with you and continue to learn more from you?
Thank you. So you can go to thelifenow.net, thelifenow.net. It stands for Victorious Living, and I help individuals in lifestyle, health, and business. You can go there. There's a freebie that I'm offering. It's a 15-minute freebie, and we can have a one-on-one conversation. 15 minutes is really all it takes. I can find out what you're doing, offer some quick advice, and you can see how that turns out. Just, try it out. Take that advice, those nuggets, those tips, and once you apply them, you'll see a difference. You'll see a change. So you can go to VLifeNow.net. I'm also on social media as Dr. Tori Knox, and that's on all social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook, I believe.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on with us today. We appreciate your time and your effort.